target audience. My target audience are primarily women, primarily over the age of 50, although I have to say it's really anybody that did not grow up with technology and is finding themselves confused. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation, share my screen, and we'll get going. Okay. Whoops, got to move a couple things around here. Forgive me. Oh, I can't get to my desktop for some reason. This little black bar won't move. Yikes. I don't want to leave the meeting. Joyce, I don't know why this black bar will not go away that's up at the top. Hold on one second. Okay. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. It was just telling me that the meeting was being recorded. All right. So I'm going into Canva, which is absolutely my favorite free platform for content creation and so much more. I'm going to go right into my presentation. And today's presentation is called Insta-101, Your Passport to Instagram Success. I'm going to go ahead and put this into full screen present mode. I will not be able to see you while I'm presenting, so if you have a question, jot it down and we'll address those questions at the end. So I want to get started by letting you know that Instagram is the fourth most popular social media platform that there is. Initially, Instagram was developed as a mobile app, but over the years, it has progressed a lot. And it has over 2 billion monthly active users. Instagram is one of the Meta properties, as is Facebook, Messenger, Direct Messenger, and WhatsApp. So it falls under that Meta umbrella. And if you are on Facebook or if you're on Instagram, it's kind of a no-brainer to not be on the other one because you can manage all of them in Meta Business Suite, another Meta property. So Instagram Reels are currently the most popular and engaging type of video formats. And these can be anywhere from 3 seconds up to 60 seconds long. That's a generalization. On TikTok, they can go much longer. But for the most part, I like to look at short form video as anywhere from 3 to 60 seconds. So these are just some statistics. Instagram is a very high engagement social platform. It's very visual, whether that be pictures or carousel posts, which are multi-page posts, great for teaching. And again, the Reels, though, are what is really stepping out in popularity over everything else right now. In my opinion, Reels are one of the quickest ways to get discovered. If you're trying to grow a following and get discovered, then Reels is definitely a way to go. So some tips for using Instagram for business in 2024 is, again, consistently sharing Instagram Reels. Now, Reels, just so that you know, and please, I'm not trying to insult your intelligence if you know these basics, but I don't know who the audience is, so I want to address everyone exactly the same. So consistently sharing Instagram Reels, and the Reels can live on your platform, on your gallery indefinitely if you choose for them to be there. But then another short form video are stories. And in the stories, you can share your reel as a story. You can share your post as a story. The basic difference is that a story is ephemeral content. It disappears after 24 hours unless you save it as a highlight. We're not getting into that today. But they disappear. So it creates something called FOMO, fear of missing out. Typically, stories are more your followers, the people that want to keep up with the day-to-day activities, because of, after all, it's social media. So we're growing, a following, but a community of people that are interested in what we have to say, what we have to teach, and also what we're doing in our regular lives. So Instagram is great for driving conversations with engaging captions and hashtags. Hashtag everything, right? Every time a hashtag is used, which is used pretty much as a search key, goes into what's called a hashtag hub. So I'm I'm constantly using hashtag Coach Mona G. And every time that I use that branded hashtag, it goes into a hub all on its own of Coach Mona G. So hashtags are good for search, and they're also good when you're trying to discover different things. So let me see, asking followers to add you to their favorites list. People love to follow those that they're interested in. Again, it can either be learning or, lifestyle or cooking, whatever, but there's every type of business ever that's represented on Instagram. So you want to make sure when you're getting started on Instagram that you have a very good and clear username. My username is different from my name on Instagram. Those are two separate areas. My username is Coach Mona G, but in the name section, it's Mona, straight up and down light, and then what I do for a living, social media, Canva, and AI 101 coach. Because in that name field, that is a searchable area. So if I put social media coach, social media 101 coach, then I'm in the running for anyone that is searching on Instagram for social media help or AI help or what have you. Let me see. So you want to decide on your brand's Instagram personality. I recommend that you really try and stay congruent across all of the platforms. So, excuse me. So your profile image should be either the same or similar to what it is on Facebook and what it is on LinkedIn. Your color branding, your color palettes. Again, people get used to see, I'm pink and gray and various shades of pink. So when people see those colors coming up and particular fonts in my picture, they know Coach Mona G's on the scene. So that's really important when you're getting things set up, your username. Also, when you're getting set up is making sure that you understand exactly who your ideal person, your avatar, your ideal client is. And all of your marketing should be directed at that. So I call my ideal client Betty Boomer. And Betty Boomer did not grow up with technology. She's struggling. So when I'm making any type of content other than entertaining content, I'm always talking to Betty. Everything that I'm doing in my marketing is addressed to Betty, my ideal client, the one that needs my help. Okay. And of course, Instagram is great for promoting your business to current customers and also in getting new customers. And you can also combine your efforts through collaborations with influencers that align with your type of business. Maybe they're not doing exactly the same thing, but a companion to what you do. And doing collaborations is great because that way you're exposing yourself to their audience and they're exposing you to their audience. And content pillars. In a perfect world, none of us would be sitting behind a computer every day trying to figure out what in the heck we're going to post. I'm a firm believer in batching your content, and the content pillars are, think of it this way. The roof is like your topic, the top of the building that holds up the building. Okay, it protects the building. But there are 4 pillars that are holding up that roof. And that would be like week 1 content, week 2 content, week 3 content, week 4 content. So you come up with a theme for the month, and then you come up with different columns that are supporting that theme of the month. For example, heart health. So the first week you could be posting all about how nutrition affects heart health. And the second week you could be posting about how water intake affects heart health. Then the third week, how exercise affects heart health, etc. So if you look at your content as like that house, and you've got your roof that is the main topic for the month, and then the pillars that are the content that's backing up or holding up your roof, then it makes it much easier to keep up with. So Instagram is a key marketing tool for businesses. Again, it's the 4th largest in all of social media. And there are different neighborhoods of Instagram. And some of those neighborhoods I'm going to be showing you in just a moment. First of all, when you go on Instagram, where you land is at home. That's the feed. Then that's where you're going to see little circles up at the top that represent people's stories. Again, those stories are going to disappear. So people want to go check out those stories right away because they don't know if it's going to disappear in an hour or if there's 23 hours left to go. So that's that FOMO thing. Now your profile and your bio is your account. You could call it a page. It's not really a page, it's an account, but for illustrative purposes, we'll call it, that's your page. And that's where you have your username and your name. And when you're setting that up, you should be very, very selective in what you're putting there. You only have 150 characters. You want to make sure that when people land there, you've got a nice picture of yourself, head and shoulders, not a full body shot because it's a small little circle. And you want people to know who you are, what you do, who you do it for, and where you are if you have a brick and mortar business, or even if you're working online, you could say global. So that profile and bio is really very important to get right on Instagram. So your posts hang out in what's considered your gallery. That's those little square spaces. It looks like the Brady Bunch, like a Zoom meeting, if you will. And you always want to think aesthetically, because Instagram is a very photo and video centric platform. Aesthetics are really important. So, you put a little bit of thought into how those beautiful pictures and videos and reels, etc., are going to all fit together on that page. The most critical area of your profile are the top 9 blocks, really the top 6, but you want to make sure that like the top 3 can be pinned posts. And that would be like who I am, what I do, who I do it for in post form, but they stay up at the top. And then the next 6 are your current posts. And people sometimes don't ever get past that. They stay in that area. So you want to make sure that those are always looking good. Some other neighborhoods in Instagram, carousel post. Carousel post is like an image post, but you can have up to 10 pages. So if you're a teacher and you're explaining different concepts, step 1, step 2, step 3, a carousel post is the perfect type of content for that type of post. Stories, again, these are vertical images or videos. They disappear after 24 hours. And reels, this is the money ticket, okay? That's where things are really, really happening right now. And these are vertical images from 3 to 60 seconds. And that's the best thing going to get you noticed and discovered. That's where you really have a chance to go viral, although that's really never my intent to have a viral video unless I can monetize it. It doesn't do you good to try and do a viral video to reach millions of people that are not your ideal clients, and they're not going to spend any time, looking at your account or following you. So that, to me is not really the end game, is having a viral video. All of your content should be good enough to go viral. And yet even more neighborhoods or features in Instagram. Direct Messenger. That's the equivalent of Facebook Messenger, but it's Instagram's version. And this is for private connections between you and your community, your potential audience and potential clients. You always want to move the conversation off of the post and into the DMs, because the algorithm really pays attention when there's a lot of activity going on in the direct messages. Another area is the Explore tab. That's that little magnifying looking thing at the bottom on your Instagram feed. And that is the icon that you click on to search for accounts or to discover new ones. Then also on the bottom of the Instagram feed, you have the Reels tab. It looks like a director's clapboard with a play symbol in the center of it. And that's where you can go to get all kinds of ideas on Reels that you can do, that you may want to start off by copying a little bit, not exactly copying, but getting the great ideas from other content creators and then making it your own. Because Instagram recently, Adam Mosseri was talking very much about how they're putting more emphasis on original content versus those that are just mimicking what other people are doing. So always bear that in mind. I talked a little bit earlier about hashtags. The hashtag hub area is where a hashtag lives after it's used on Instagram. It has its own little page, if you will, of a hashtag hub. So Instagram, in my opinion, is a must-have platform for businesses, particularly if you're already on Facebook, then it's a no-brainer to not have Instagram and vice versa, because all of that you can post your posts and manage your messages, your notifications, and everything all from Meta Business Suite. Again, these are all Meta properties, so they've made it easy to manage both of those platforms within one place. It's really pretty easy to use, a little bit of a learning curve when you're getting started, but like anything else, once you do it a few times, you get the hang of it and it makes life much easier. You can also advertise and do sponsorships on Instagram. You can do collaborations with influencers. You can sell products. You can sell services. So it's an all-around good platform, in my opinion. And if you haven't jumped on the Instagram bandwagon yet, you may be doing your business a great disservice because it really is a super popular program. So now I want to talk about harnessing Instagram for business growth. And I want to do that by, and I'm going to finish with this slide deck, and then I want to actually jump in there so you can actually see what's going on in Instagram. And I can point out some of these things, not on a slide deck, on written words, but so you can actually see it for yourself. If you like, you can take a screenshot. This is my contact information, and I do offer a complimentary 30-minute discovery session. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, just screenshot this information. And without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and stop this share, and I'm going to share my phone screen and go right on inside of Instagram. So bear with me while I get this set up for just a moment, get my phone turned on. And then I'm going to reshare, this time using my iPhone and AirPlay. And it does take just a second for it to get there. I have to go in and mirror my screen. And in just a moment, it should come up on the screen. Do you guys see that? Can you see that, Joyce? Okay, great.
Yep, I see it.
Perfect. So I'm going right into Instagram. And this right here where we are right now is the feed. And you know that you're at the feed because if you look down here across the bottom, you see the little house, which is home. There's the magnifying glass that I was talking about. This is how you search for people. This plus sign down here at the bottom is how you add. So if I press that, I can either go to my camera and take a picture or do a video, or I can, this is really cool. Pay attention to this. This little tab right here, templates, is a quick way to get started doing short form video where all you have to do is just fill in the pictures. You replace the pictures that are there and the words that are there with pictures of your own and words of your own. I'll just give you an example. So if I wanted to do this, I just clicked on it and then notice down here at the bottom, each one of these spaces is reserved for a short piece of a video, 4.3 seconds, 2.0 seconds, etc. You just simply choose those right from your camera roll, and then you progress through the rest of the reel, and you can change the words, change the pictures, change the videos. So you can take that template that's super, super easy to do and make it your own original material. So I love templates. There's another, okay, there's another app that I'd like you to write down. It's called CapCut, CapCut. It's also a free app that you can easily use templates, insert your photos, your videos, and your words, and even choose the music that you prefer. Incidentally, speaking of music, trending music is something that is always something that you want to shoot for. And the way that you find trending music, when you go into the audio section to add it to a reel, if you see a little upward facing arrow kind of pointing towards the right, that tells you that that music is trending. That's the type of music that you want to use when you're trying to get a lot of exposure on your videos, because that music is really popular, it's trending, and so people want to use that in their reels. I'm going now by pressing on this little bottom right section. I call that a bubble head. And this is how you get to your profile. So right here, there's my username, Coach Mona G. There's my picture, the same head and shoulder shot that I use on Facebook and LinkedIn and everywhere, so people know that they've landed on the correct account. Then this is the name. This is what I was telling you about. Username is like the name of my business, but down here in the name field is Mona, and then what I do, because that way somebody that's searching for social media or AI or training I'll be in the running for that because it's a searchable field. I do have a Threads account. That's a totally different subject for a different day. My category is entrepreneur. And then right here, this is what is called the Instagram bio. You have 150 characters only, and you really want this to be something that grabs attention. So for me, as an example, I put the little emoji of the lady with her hand up, and it says, "I get it. I used to be you." Again, I'm responding. I'm offering some information that is asking for an emotional response from people, because somebody that is struggling with social media, that's somehow they're feeling that, so I'm letting them know, I get it. I used to be you. Now I chose a middle-aged woman. It says, now I help baby boomers learn and master social media and AI. And then of course it cuts off, so you have to click on that little more tab, and it concludes with and master social media and AI. This next tab, using the pointing down figure, I'm telling them about free resources that I have, and those free resources are hosted in something that's called a link tree. So Joyce definitely wanted me to mention this in the presentation. Instagram does allow you to have 5 clickable links in your bio, but before they allowed you to do that, there was a workaround called Linktree, linktr.ee. And the Linktree, I'm going to push on that so you can see it, allows you to have as many links as you want. Now, just because you can have as many as you want doesn't necessarily mean that you want to use them all. Sometimes less is more. In fact, I probably have a little too much on here, but Linktree is a free resource for you. You go in and you enter all of this information. Now, this picture is not exactly the same as my other one that I use, but it's very similar. People can tell that that's me and they're in the right place. I also have on here my digital business card that I made in Canva for free, an area where they can schedule the 30-minute complimentary discovery session. They can register for my women exclusive networking meeting right here. They can visit my website, and when they press on these buttons, it takes them immediately there. So by pressing on that button, that took them right straight to my actual website online. And then continuing along, getting back to Linktree. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I keep pressing on my computer, but it's my phone that I have to do that with. So, okay, Linktree. All right. And then as I scroll on down, you can see I'm asking them to subscribe to my YouTube channel, to follow me on Facebook, on Instagram. And here's a lead magnet, free, maximize your Facebook and Instagram profiles checklist. And you are welcome to take advantage of that if you're just getting started on Facebook and or Instagram. That's a great resource for you, and it's absolutely free. So now going back to my profile and continuing along, down here, these little bubble heads are these are stories that I ran They stayed up for 24 hours and then they disappeared. But while they were up and they were still active, I saved them as a highlight. So for example, this is my networking tab. And if you'll notice up here at the top, each one of these little dash marks is a different story. So this can go on and on and on. You don't want to save every story that you do. You want to save the special stories that are important for people to have access to on your profile. So I have too many, but so if somebody's looking for information about AI, then they can click on that AI tab and go to all of the stories about AI and so forth. Now, I want to take you down into the gallery. While I'm there, let me explain. This little icon right here is just your profile gallery. This is your Reels only, not to be confused with this Reels icon down here. This one takes you to the Explore page where everybody's Reels are. So if you want to be entertained or you're looking for ideas of Reels that you can do yourself for your business, you would go to the bottom Reels tab. If you want to see your Reels, then you click on the top one. And then these are my reels that I have up right now, as well as drafts that I'm working on that I have not published yet. Okay. And going back to my profile, back to the home page, I just wanted to explain a couple more little things up here. These three dots right here is called a hamburger menu. I liken it to looking at a Big Mac sideways. You've got the three buns and the hamburgers get stuffed in the middle. I don't know if that's why they call it a hamburger menu, but that's why I call it a hamburger menu. And then down here at the bottom, once again, if you want to create a reel or do a post or add a story, you can either do that by clicking on this plus sign up at the top or this plus sign here at the bottom. I'm going to click on the bottom one. And down here, you'll notice my choices are post, story, reel, or I can go live. So that's another feature in Instagram is that you can go live and you can invite people in the audience that are watching your live to join you inside that live video as well. There are different things that you do give different point values, for lack of better words, on with the algorithm. So for example, if somebody just likes your post, it doesn't really mean a whole lot unless there's like thousands of them. Then they can't ignore it. But a like is really like 1 point, if I had to assign it a point value. But when people press the heart or the hug or the angry emojis, that's slightly better. Those are like 3-point value. But when people comment on your posts, ding, 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 just like any other social media platform rather, comments matter, especially. You always want to be educating your clients and your people 5-word comments or more, and their name is not part of those 5 words. So you want to put a well-thought 5-word comment, and that affects the needle on the algorithm. But in Instagram, when somebody saves your post, that's like 10 points or 15. And when they share it, even more so. That's pretty much the same on Facebook as well. The points value, the likes are, the emotions are just a little bit more, but the comments are, and the saves and the shares are where the algorithm really takes notice. That, and as I mentioned in the very beginning, direct messenger. Those are the things that really move the needle on the algorithm that you want to shoot for. If you're going to take the time to post, you may as well post in a way that is going to really give you the best results in the algorithms. In Instagram, it's not just an algorithm, it's multiple algorithms. So there's a different algorithm for stories, a different algorithm for reels, and a different algorithm for posts. So always bear that in mind when you're creating content. And that's pretty much Instagram as far as like how to navigate around once you land there. Now, I want to show you just a couple of examples of some reels, okay? Because with Instagram and every other platform, you always want to diversify your content, okay? So they're called content buckets. You have different buckets of content that you pull from to post on your pillars if you're batching content. Sometimes you want to just entertain them. Like Friday, Fun Friday is what I do, Fun Friday. Then I do memes and I do GIFs and I do reels and or jokes or things that are entertaining to my audience. So that's one bucket is inspiration, motivation. Another content bucket would be educational. So if you're providing tips, 3 tips on this or 7 tips on that, that's another type of content tips, and that can be done in a reel or it can be done in a carousel post or even a single image post. But I find for teaching, let me just find one for you. Let's see. Just trying to find, I've been doing a lot of reels, and let me tell you something. I was stuck, and I'm not a 10, 20,000, 100,000 person follower. Don't get hung up on those metrics, okay? I would rather you have, 10 or 100 followers that are your ideal client, that are potential clients that are going to consume your content and enjoy it, than 10,000 that are just numbers that really drag down your analytics. So don't worry so much, that the growth can be constant and steady. I was stuck at 1490 to 1505 forever. It just seems like I just got stuck there. And then I started doing an experiment by posting a lot of reels. I started doing like a reel a day for the past 3 weeks. And I automatically went from that 1499 up to 1568. That's just in 3 weeks. And granted, again, that's not 10,000 followers or what have you, but that's good, consistent growth. And if you look at the followers, these are people that would likely buy from me, men and women alike. A lot of them are my ideal clients. So those numbers are good. Those are the metrics that you want to look at, not so much likes and things like that. So let me see. I think I was trying to find you carousel post. Excuse me.
And I would say maybe we should wrap up here in a couple minutes so we have a little bit of time for questions, Mona.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, I guess it's been a while since I posted a carousel. But in any event, there's one. Okay, this is a carousel post. Notice right here in the top right, it's 1 of 6. And notice that I've put on here a little arrow, and that's like a word picture telling them to swipe. So here's number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then always end with a call to action. And my call to action are these little emojis right here. Like it, comment, share, and save. So that's a subliminal message to my potential audience and my followers to do those things. And I
And one
will.
more thing really quick. Can you go back to that screen? I just want to try. I know we said questions at the end, but I know you're almost done. Where you had the share thing, this is my kind of like own like ignorance, but can you, when you say share, you can only share it through a private message. Can you elaborate on that and go back to the screen where it had the little arrow?
Okay.
How can you share on Instagram?
Instagram is sort of, well, it's very different from Facebook. On
That's what
Facebook,
I thought.
there's a little button that says share, and you can share anybody's stuff out there, and it's fine. But on Instagram, if you're going to share somebody's content, you need permission to share their content. Now, that's not the same with stories, okay, and I think even reels. But
Oh,
as far
okay.
as the content is concerned, like this is my content. I don't want, I wouldn't mind anybody sharing it because to me, I want it out there. But it's a faux pas on Instagram. You only share people's content with permission on Instagram, unless it's stories and reels. Yeah, you can remix reels and everything.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Very good. Let me close that down and open it up for questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that, ladies, that was a lot of information coming at you really fast, but as Joyce alluded to earlier, you can have a copy of this slide deck, but the best way to do it is to just get in there and start pushing buttons. You really can't go wrong. And that's where the fun happens. To me, social media shouldn't be something that you dread, that you hate, that you don't want to do, that you don't look forward to, that you procrastinate. Make it fun. So that way, and it'll show up when you make it fun and you're having fun with it, it'll come across in your content, and your content will be better. Let me see. Lori.
Hey, thank you, by the way, that was awesome. I have a question. Do you know if do you get dinged if you're using your reels, if you're using templates for your reels versus making the whole thing from scratch?
Not unless you are copying something exactly. So like, for example, there's a reel that I did a long time ago, and I used the audio, not somebody's video. I used my face and my talking, but I used audio, and it said, my mind is like an internet browser. I've got 19 tabs, 3 of them are frozen, and I don't know where the music is coming from. So that was me using somebody else's content, but putting my voice in there, you know? And so Instagram is not going to share that out with people like it would if it was my original content that I made up. They're putting a real emphasis on original content, but a template doesn't mean that it's not original. If you're changing the photos and changing the videos and changing the words and so forth in there, that's still considered original.
Okay, okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it seems like
time
those
to
are
have a
just much
couple of
quicker.
questions. Who else has a question?
Marla?
Yes, hi, this has been great. I've been to a couple other classes and they talk about, I mean, you talked about pinning something at the top and all of that I get, but they said you can't even look at each post as a separate entity. You have to look at like it's one magazine and how it all goes together and color match. And how important is all of that?
Well, I'll tell you, you're going to find a mix of everything on Instagram. I have started paying more attention to my colors on my feed and so forth. But that's not necessary. It's not mandatory. It's really whatever is aesthetically pleasing to you, but moreover, what you think is going to be aesthetically pleasing to your viewers. Everything that you're doing on social media should not be what you like and what you want. Everything should be directed for your ideal client, your avatar.
Great. I see we have a question from Julie.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this is pretty naive or basic. How do you make money? I mean, I get it. You are presenting a service and it's like a really, really huge glorified business card, what you're putting out there. Is that in general, how do people make money off of Instagram? Are some of them just going for the sheer volume of hits? And does Instagram pay people when they get above a certain amount of hits, or?
There are different ways that you can monetize on Instagram. Stars is one thing. Buy me a coffee. I mean, there's different things that you can do to monetize, but really where you can make the most money is if you're selling products. You can actually have a marketplace, a store on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you're selling, now I'm a service-based company. What I'm doing is I'm getting the attention of people, showing them what I do so that they book that discovery session. And then it's up to me when I get them in that discovery call to try and monetize that call and get them to sign up as a client. There's lots of different monetization factors, but like influencing, you can do sponsorships from companies. Say you're a lifestyle blogger or a travel blogger, and you're traveling to all these different places. You can get brand deals, and they will pay you, send you product to review and to wear, and all. So there's lots of different ways that you can monetize, but for the most part, look at it as like an advertising platform for free. I do everything organically. I'm not totally against paid advertising. It's just that my ideal client doesn't really have a budget for paid advertising yet. As they start making money, then of course, I'm not opposed to it. I think it's great. But, if you can do it organically, then that's even better. It costs you just time and not, also money.